All right, it's 12 minutes to go to the top of the hour. We've got Glen Aglioti in studio talking about his life. It's all written in a book. Glen Aglioti is the title of the book. The authors are Peter Peagle and Sean Newman. And Glen, thanks for staying with us.
Pleasure.
I imagine that you lost a lot of friends during that time of your life. Or did you gain a lot of friends?
No,
what was it like?
You know what, Leanne, you lose a lot of friends, all the hangers-on, people that were there for the good times. And then obviously when this happened, a lot of people just, ran for the woods because they didn't want to be involved in a controversial situation, being linked to me. So yes, a lot of people just fled for the woods.
Yeah, and the money that went into this trial.
Absolutely.
How much did it cost you?
I can't divulge.
You don't want to divulge.
It was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money.
Yes, yeah. It ruined me financially, but that's fine. I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm still alive.
Yeah.
So thank God I'm still here.
And what are you doing now? I mean, to try and earn money?
Well, right now I'm just basically looking for mining resources out of the country, in the neighboring countries, namely Kenya, Mozambique, Zambia, Zimbabwe, packaging those resources and then obviously selling them to international investors, whether it be Singapore, Canada, London.
Yeah. You talk about what type of a man you are in this book, and you are the go-between man. You're a negotiator.
Absolutely.
That's what you do 100%,
best. Yeah.
But this time you're doing it legally.
Legally, yes.
Is that it?
Absolutely.
You are?
Yeah.
Let's talk about your crime. Are you guilty?
I was guilty of many things, and I don't dispute that. I'm sorry for the things I did in the past, and, for me it's a new leaf. I've turned the corner, as it were. And it's important, I owe it to myself firstly, my family. I have a great few friends, and, I'm proud of where I'm going, proud of myself. And I'm just holding my head up high and moving forward.
Do you feel lucky to a certain extent that you didn't go to jail?
Not at all. I don't think there was any doubt in my mind, nor my family or my counsel's minds, that we were going to go to jail. When I say we, that's how they always talk. So no, it was never a threat. I never once thought, am I going to go? Yes, no. So no, I never lived with that fear.
Never lived with that. Brett Kebble, the infamous question, who killed Brett Kebble?
Well, it's been...
The confessed murderers?
Yes, and it's gone to trial. They did it, and they admitted to it, and they were indemnified for it.
Yeah. I mean, your relationship with him, did he have enemies? Was there a reason for this to happen?
Brett was such a gregarious person, beautiful man, highly intelligent, multi-talented, and just a very, very good businessman. And he was known as the golden boy of mining at that time, or before that.
Yeah, yeah.
And, enemies, yes, he had enemies in the commercial field, as most of these people do have at such a high level. And, but, people that, it was just more an economic empowerment struggle, really, at the top, as you do have in mining.
Yeah. And you talk a lot about Brett in this book.
Yes,
you talk about your relationship with him, and you talk about Brett, which we'll leave that to the readers to go to. Let's talk about drugs, because this is something that it's something you're associated with, something you've been convicted with. How do you feel about this and the lives that you may have destroyed through
Thank
through
God
this
I didn't destroy any lives. At the time I got involved in something that, it was surreal. I was never involved in purchasing of the drugs. Any of that, so I didn't purchase, I wasn't a drug dealer, I still am not a drug dealer, or a peddler or a trafficker. I did get involved in a situation where, unfortunately, I didn't want to say no to help a family friend and a close, well, he was basically married to my cousin, in clearing of the container. Myself and Nassif, cleared it, we stored it, and that's where it stopped, and thank God it was intercepted at the time. So, for me I wasn't involved in the purchasing and the distribution, so for me it wasn't the bigger picture. Having said that, I'm not making excuses. It's something I really, really
You regret? Do you regret?
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't. You don't necessarily need to sell the drugs to be involved. It's
No,
a
no,
long
no,
chain.
100%.
And yes, there are lives that are ruined through it.
I did
Through
play.
every role player.
I did play a part, and
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it.
Yeah.
You know, I've apologized, I've accepted it, and I've got to move on, and then, you know, try and give back to society. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Let's talk about Jackie Celebi now. You say Celebi was a political victim. Why do you say that?
Well, if you look at the entire case, Leanne, and how it came about, he was a high-powered. He was head of SABC. He was president of Interpol. He was opposed to the existence of the Scorpions at the time and made it clear to then President Mbeki. And he made it very clear that he was not going to run for a second term unless the Scorpions were disbanded. And his opinion at the time was you could never have two law enforcement agencies in the same country. And the reason for that was, number one, the Scorpions would investigate a person or entity, whatever. They would then take them to trial, appoint their own judge, and then convict them. So where was the free and fair trial synopsis? It never existed. And the biggest thing about Celebi, and I've got to highlight this, and people don't know it. That's why, you know, buy the book, don't buy it. It's irrelevant. But Celebi was totally against the fact that you had policemen that were earning a salary of 6,000 rand, for argument's sake. The same person in the Scorpions, the same level, whether he was an inspector or whatever, was earning 3 or 4 times the salary. And they would poach people from SAP. So how did you quantify that? And it was a difficult task for Celebi, because Celebi was all for his troops, his people in SAPS.
Yeah. Just finally, before I let you go, if you had the opportunity to speak to Celebi now, what would you say to him?
I'd say to him that I said to him all along that they were after us. He knew about it. However, whether it was his arrogance or he thought he was not untouchable, but he knew what was going on. And I'm sorry for that. But the Scorpions threw everything at me to turn against Celebi.
Yeah.
And they threatened my family, they threatened me, and it was a difficult decision. But having said that, you know, you'll do anything to protect your family, as you know.
Yeah.
You have kids. And I had no choice in the matter.
Yeah. All right. Glen Aglioti, thank you so much for talking to us here on Morning Live.
Thank you.
Your book, you're launching this tomorrow night, is
Tomorrow
that right?
night, the official launch.
Okay, the official launch is taking place tomorrow night. But it is in bookstores around the country already?
It is, yes.
All right.
It is, yeah.
All right, so Glen Aglioti, this is the book. If you want to read more about the man, his life, his story, and everything associated with it, it's in bookstores around the country. And as Glen has said himself, he benefits nothing from this book. He doesn't get anything from the book. It goes all to the authors, Peter Pegel and Sean Newman. They did the biography on this one. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Listen,